thought you were doing this.
I'm actually going to skip it.
All right, we're skipping this. So let's just start with talking about the two projects. We, as I think all of you know, and I believe you have handouts on your table, we're working on the algebra for 8th grade level, 2 semesters, and the important thing, since most of you know that we've been in development on this, that we will have ready for piloting the first semester in July, so this summer. And then second semester will be out in December, so you could do some pilots starting in January. And I think we'll follow up with folks about piloting. We'll have a process set up to work with you for anybody who wants to do that. And I'll let Terry speak to that after this. And then for the developmental math, we've started work on that, and the first semester, which will be the basic math, will be out also in December for starting to pilot in January, and the subsequent semesters of the developmental math, the next 2 will be out in sequence in 2011 with the geometry coming in early 2012. So that's the schedule on these, and we want to work with all of you. You'll see as we go through this, we are trying to involve the network and other experts in the process, and so we'll be looking to you throughout as these go through, as we have been, to inform these. So what we want to do now is actually show you some of the components. We've done a lot of work on the research on the technology, but more importantly, the pedagogy, the trends in math education, and have come up with these different components to really take advantage of some of what we know about the different ways that people learn. So Jess, take it on.
Okay, I'm gonna avoid the microphone if everybody can hear me okay. I can't? Okay, dang it. Terry. Okay, I've got the microphone. All right, so what we're gonna start showing you this morning is this is the topic homepage, and this is where a student would come into some material, a topic being the most granular level of material that a student could access on a single topic or concept. And so the topic homepage essentially gives them an overview of how they can get into this material. As you see across the top, there's sort of a tabbed interface. One thing I would mention is this design you're seeing is actually, we're in the process of updating it. So as Gary mentioned yesterday, we did a lot of focus group work and a lot of research over the past 8 months or so, and it led us to actually doing some redesign. So I'm just giving you the flavor of how this will work, but keep in mind the look and feel will change a little bit, and we'll show you a screen capture in a minute of that. But essentially they start on the topic home. The student would then go into the warm-up, and the warm-up exercises give them an idea of if they're ready to actually take this topic. So they're going to be quizzed on some previous material. If they don't pass that, they'll know, they'll be pointed back to what they need to review in order to be able to take this topic. The next and most exciting feature, I think, of the topic is the presentation material. And I'm just going to let John click on that, and we'll watch it for a few seconds.
We see slopes all around us, every day. Nick here deals with slopes in roads, hills, rails, and other places. When we calculate slopes, we answer the question, how steep is it? Let's check in with Nick, who's heading up a hill nearby. As he travels up the hill, he is actually moving both vertically up and horizontally across. Slope is the ratio of these two movements. More exactly, slope is the rate of change of the vertical movement for each unit of horizontal movement. We can see that Nick's road is steep, but how steep is it? To find out, let's draw the hill as a line on a graph. we can see that for every 2 spaces on the graph that the line moves up, it also moves 1 space across. The amount of vertical movement is called the rise.
Okay, so now for the quiz. So as you can see, it's integrating a video instructor, essentially, along with graphics, audio. We're obviously building in the mathematical concepts into this presentation. And one thing I would mention is this is actually designed for the 8th grade algebra course. As we're getting ready to gear up for developmental math, some of the design will change as well. So this is a little bit more juvenile probably than what you might see in the developmental math. And John's actually doing some focus groups this week where we're going to test out some additional design ideas for that. So the student can go through the presentations, and obviously we're targeting a specific learning style with this. There are other options for how the student can learn this material on linear inequalities. The work examples are another place that the student can go. I'll let John click on the work example tab. And what you see there is
in this example, we're going to
there are actually 2 buttons there. There can be up to 3, maybe even some more than that, of the worked examples. And this is basically solving problems step by step, so the student can go in and see exactly how a problem is solved. I guess you can play that one for a second.
slopes of a given line. To start things off, we need to pick 2 points. A good choice for our first point is right here. This is because the line goes through one of the intersections in the graph behind it, making it easier for us to identify its coordinates. Similarly, right here would make a good choice for our next point.
So you get the idea.
We'll call it.
The other thing I'd point out is the interesting or fun thing about the work examples is along the bottom there are actually points where the student can hover over and see different steps in this process. So if they're confused about something, they can actually click around down on the bar below. So that's the worked examples. There are problems and reviews as well, and these help the student know if they've gotten the material they need. The other thing that you don't see here is there's actually a reading section, and this is the online textbook piece that Gary mentioned yesterday. So the student could print that out. There will be hyperlinked glossary and things, features like that in the text material. In addition to this, at the unit level, we're doing a social simulation environment. And Gary mentioned yesterday, this is much like our history course where the student is actually going through with a professor and answering some questions. In this environment, they're actually going to be working with what we're calling a tutor. So it's essentially a virtual study session, and they're going to be talking about problems. So John, I'll let you go ahead and walk through some of